Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/cheating stories, where OP is now in a situation that could have been easily avoided. Let's begin. My ex emotionally cheated on me, posted by Reddit user ThrowR8Cheese.
We had been together for 3 years and living together for 2.5 years at this point, and we were really in love with each other. She always tell me and our friends and family how much she wants to marry me and have my kid. Even up to a few weeks before she opened up to me about how unhappy she was. Apparently she has been unhappy for a year now and just didn't know if she wanted to stay with me and saw a future with me. But a week before that, a new guy in the friend group invited us to go see a movie. He actually just invited her, but she asked me. We didn't like the show, but she insisted on going to the movie, which was the first weird sign. A week later, she Ubers to my work to get her car, because mine's being worked on and I'm using hers, and goes to our friends to play games, and that new friend is there too. The next day she tells me how happy she's been. I started to get extremely suspicious, and a week later we go to our friends to watch a series finale for a TV show at our friends. That's a big group party and the dude's there too. I show up after work, so we drive separately. She's being really weird and kind of distant, and when it's over everybody leaves except me, the homeowners, my ex, and the dude. I feel really weird just lingering around, so I eventually say bye and leave. She leaves right after me, but she did admit that she hugged the guy goodbye that night. I go through a phone that night, and they've been talking a lot the past few weeks. And that morning of the party she opened up to him and expressed how attracted she was to him and how she was glad he was in her life. I don't say anything for a few days, and then we start to have more talks about our relationship. And I bring it up to her if she's talking to someone else, and she says no. I go through a phone again that night, and he was trying to meet up with her, and she also offered her truck to help him move because he just got out of a breakup himself a week or two before. The next day we have another talk, and I asked her if she's talking to him, and she says no, she would never do that. She's been cheated on before and knows how bad it hurts. I asked to see her messages, and they were all deleted. The third day in a row I asked her, and she lies to me again, and I finally tell her that I went through her phone and quoted off messages. We try and work things out. She says that she told him they shouldn't be texting each other and to just be friends. I also ask her to tell me if he reaches out to her and just let me know. During the next week she's trying to be with me more, and it seems like she's working things out, but she is being distant at the same time. I come to find out that she's still in contact with the dude and replying to his messages and stories on Instagram. We end up hanging out with friends, and he's there too. And at the end we leave, everybody hugs, and they do too, even though I told her to stop being in contact with him. The next day she lies about talking to him. She's still talking to him. We think it might be a good idea to separate for the night, so I go stay to friends so she can have space. When I leave, she's texting me how much she loves me, and it seems like she's really wanting to work things out. She asks me to get couples therapy, so I do. The next day she's really kind and affectionate until she goes and hikes with the dude. And another friend of ours. I knew they were going to be hiking, so that wasn't a surprise. When she gets back from the hike, she seems very distant and is putting me off on other people. So we don't see each other for the rest of the night until I come home and she's already in bed. She tells me about her day and how nice it was going to get drinks with her friend that night. And she rolls over and doesn't ask me about my night or the night before. Just goes to sleep. I sit there for a minute and I tell her about couples therapy, and she asked how much it was, and I told her, and then she didn't say anything else. I get up and I go to sleep on the couch that night. The next day we break up. That night she goes to a friend's and comes home and has tears in her eyes, and I ask her what's on her mind. And she keeps saying how she doesn't know if she's making the right decision, and she's still so confused. The whole time this has happened. Just back and forth every day. I've been very open and honest and supportive, and I just wanted the relationship to work. The next day I tell her about couples therapy, and she tells me that she's not going, and we're broken up, and she can't do things for me anymore. Since then she's been pretty kind, but very distant and standing by her word about the breakup. We were going to go on a vacation last week, so I went alone and she stayed. It's been 3 weeks today and I still really miss her. I understand all the things that I did to make her fall out of love with me, but it seemed like leading up to him we were still very much in love. To me it seems like he just turned her head enough to make her see that there are other people out there. I do have a question, since this guy is still in our friend group and he's not going anywhere. Should I confront him and just say something like, I know what happened and I can get over what you did? Because I want to keep my friends that I have had for the past 3 years, but I'll never forget what you did. I don't know if there's even a point to say anything at this point.
Dude, she lied to you at least 3 times, and you keep forgiving her.
Like a little bitch.
Well, OP, let me make one thing very clear here. It's not the other guy's fault. It's definitely not yours. It's all her fault. And she refuses to take accountability of her dumb decisions. And you keep allowing it. You're encouraging it, you damn donut. Look, man, she wanted this to happen. I guarantee you, OP, it was definitely not just an emotional affair. Just kick her out and move on with your life. But if you really want to get some sort of revenge on her and the affair partner, expose them to everyone that you know. Call them out on every single chance that you get. Hey there, bud. Trying to fuck anyone else's girlfriend today? And now for today's second story. It's been almost a year since my wife left. Posted by Reddit user Onward Upward.
Coming up on a year since she cheated. I am still wanting and trying to contact her. I have tremendous regret and guilt that I caused this. Backstory: wife and I sold our house in 2020 right before COVID and moved to a one-bedroom. 11 months later, her son, alcohol and drugs, moves in with us and sleeps on couch without a job. Quits rehab and support counseling. She gave no consequence. Kills intimacy. He finally moves to grandma's house and lives there from September 22nd to August 23rd. May 2022. I find wife has been texting a man from work. I confront her and we finally discuss our lack of intimacy. She goes closer to the coworker and begins emotional affair. In June 22nd, she sleeps with him 2 weeks before a planned overseas trip. She led the affair. 5 days after returning from trip, she asks for a divorce, moves in with coworker, then moves to a new place with her son, boyfriend, and her live about 5 blocks from each other. I have been a mess since. Almost a year. We are divorced, but I feel I can still try to understand what happened. I thought she was better than this. I have struggled a lot. Coming up on a year and don't know how to reconcile this anguish in me that I didn't treat her and her son right when he lived with us. I want her to talk to me, to give me her side of the story, and why she chose to ruin what I thought was a great marriage, besides always having to focus on her 27-year-old son who can't launch. She went directly to another man who told her what she wanted to hear, and now he is living the life I had with her. I loved her. I want her to discuss this with me so at least I can try to feel whole again. We work for the same company, different buildings. Still a lot of potential contact between us. She is 53, I'm 52, boyfriend is 41. I feel lost, insecure. During separation, I've had some very choice words for her. She led this affair and left me cause I wanted consequences for her son to improve his life and health. But apparently that wasn't her plan. She lives with son now, so this is my fault that I didn't want him living with us constantly without job, sleeping until 4 p.m. and masturbating to porn in our living room. I'm trying to understand her too. Why? Sorry. Looking for advice, but it is a rant too. Hopefully you can understand this. Thanks.
So, she jumped off the pedestal, blew it up, gave you the middle finger, and despite all of that, you still want her back. OP, did you get dropped on your head as a baby or something? Look, man, she is not the love of your life. She is your romantic fantasy of what love and a perfect wife was. She chose to bring her deadbeat son into your home. She chose another man over you. And by the way, this affair partner, he is definitely not the first person she ever cheated on you with. You were just a means to an end, OP. You should move on and seek out true happiness. You're free now.
Why are you still here?
Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.